I'm a bunny. Backwards bunny, huh? Okay, so, oh, I'm doing this early today. I have work later. I'm not even good. No, we're doing this now. All right, and this is a quick chapter. It feels like, I think Oda knew, like, okay, with this thing I'm gonna show off, with this big revelation we're gonna get in this chapter, people are gonna be talking about this for a while. I don't need to make this a very long, drawn-out chapter, so let's go with it. This will be One Piece, chapter 8! Screw 777. 888 is the new lucky number, okay? All the slot machines around the world will now be changed to 8. 8 will now be the big lucky number because of this chapter alone. And it's titled, Lion. So, yeah, I guess, I don't know. I guess that lion that was on Ruskaina that Luffy was fighting is going to reappear, and Kumadori's going to be riding on top of it, and that's going to be the saving grace, obviously. Even the cover page is really brief this week. Nothing really all that complicated. It seems to be the end of Ideo's little arc with Blue Gilly and Abdul and Jeet. They're sailing the seas, and they finally made the declaration that, you know what? I'm gonna be a pirate, or I guess we're gonna be pirates. Now, Abdul and Jeet were already kind of cool with that, but with Ideo and Blue Gilly, it was kind of debatable whether or not, because it was like the Triple X Gym Alliance. It wasn't actually a pirate crew in it, but it seems from this chapter that after, I guess, encountering the long arms and long eggs and seeing everything going on, and maybe they just looked at each other and realized, you know, that was a pretty messed up thing we just did, leave those back there, like those guys back there to die. I mean, they would kill each other. We're basically kind of like pirates. Yeah, we are basically kind of like, wait, we have a ship, we have a crew, we're strong. Screw it, okay, grab the paint, let's paint the freaking Jolly Roger, let's raise it up. And so it seems like Ideo's gonna be the captain, Blue Gilly's gonna be the first mate, and, you know, Abdul and Jeet are there, they're probably gonna serve a purpose, and then we're gonna get some other people on the crew, and yeah, it's the Triple X pirate crew, I guess now. I don't know, but yeah, that seems like pretty much the end of Ideo's little thing. I don't remember who was the 4th member of the Grand Fleet, but I'm sure you guys will let me know in the comments and who we're gonna cover next on the cover series. But let's get into the chapter, because this is where it gets fun, kids! Okay, so we actually start things off, though, with a little bit of Luffy on Katakuri action, which is interesting, because it was, like, no transition. There was no transition between, like, Luffy deciding, you know, alright, let's open up a mirror, go back in the mirror world, and let's confront Katakuri. No, Luffy is just there, confronting Katakuri, which is, you know, maybe that's a sign that maybe, like, Oda wants to maybe speed it up, like, we're gonna get near the end soon, or maybe it's just, like, to save time. I'm just saying, like, Oda's been really good with the transitions, like moving from the real world to the mirror world and back and forth, and all of a sudden, you know, last time we saw Luffy, he was hiding out with Brûlé, just talking about, you know, hockey and everything, and now all of a sudden he's staring down Katakuri back in the mirror world. And Luffy looks pretty ragged, guys. He looks still like he hasn't recovered much. However, Katakuri, though, you know, he's still looking like $1,000,000. He's like, oh, so you decided to come back. And the way he says it is actually, I mean, he basically comes out and says, hey, look, I know maybe you were afraid that people would laugh at you or call you a coward if you ran, but all you had to do was say that you were up against me. And nobody would have laughed at you. Nobody would have been like, you were up against Katakuri, the man with over 1 billion berry bounty, the strongest fighter in the Big Mom crew, and you decided to run away? Oh my god, you're a little bitch. Nobody would have been saying that. Everyone would be like, holy crap, you managed to get out of there alive? Holy shit. But, yeah, that wasn't the case, though. And Luffy even comes out and says it. You know, Katakuri gives him basically a choice of options. He's like, did you come back just because of your pride? Or did you come back just to beg at my, my feet for a position on our crew? Now, I think it's pretty obvious Katakuri would never have let, you know, Luffy join the crew after all the crap that's going on there. You know, even if he did, even Luffy's not the kind of guy to do this, obviously, but even if he were to grovel at Katakuri's feet, like, I'm sorry, Moji, man, I'll listen, he would have just been like, alright, and then just summoned the spear and, like, stabbed him or something. Big Mom would simply never allow it, but that's neither here nor there, because Luffy's declaration is neither. He did not come back to save his pride, and he did not come back to beg to join the crew, obviously. He came back to beat up Katakuri, and he launches a volley of armament-infused punches. It doesn't look like he's in gear second or anything, just looks like normal punches, and Katakuri just, you know, he just kind of bends backwards like he's doing like the limbo, and just dodges the punches effortlessly, like he always does. His observation hockey is totally on point, and he's just like, I don't think that was one of the options. Like, oh, you are going to die. So, yeah, but now, you know what? Luffy's got a plan. I'm giving this guy some cred, alright? He was sitting around, he was thinking of shit to do. Now, granted, the only plan he might have is, like, let's try fighting him a lot, and then maybe my hockey will get better. But I think he might actually have something going on here, an actual plan to try to maybe either get Katakuri off of his game, you know, to mess up his observation hockey, or a plan himself to, maybe he figured out, like, oh, if I do this, that might increase my observation hockey, or if I attack him this way. Probably not, but Luffy would have not charged back in if he was like completely, if he was like 100% certain he would lose. Because there was a point in the fight where he was like, you're invincible, there's nothing I can do. But the fact is, Luffy could have ran away, and that's never in Luffy's character, but I think the fact that he came back and he seems fairly confident that he's going to be able to do something to Katakuri, I think that speaks volumes. So we'll cut back to that in maybe later chapters. You know, hopefully Luffy won't be like dead on the floor in front of Katakuri and caked in a mochi casket, but yeah, we'll cut back to that. So let's get to the main focus of the chapter. Let's get to the thing that we're all excited for. I cannot stress that enough. Okay, we're cutting back over to the Thousand Sunny. Of course, it's being chased by Big Mom's fleet. Big Mom's the head of it. Pero Sparrow, Candy Sea Slug, whole bunch of battle tart ships launching cannonballs. Little bit of a problem. We've seen before that the cannonballs are actually homies, which in essence does sound like a smart move, because you'd have like homing homies, because they can control which direction they go, and so they can like lock onto your opponents. Also though, kind of messed up, you know, when you're like morally, when you think about it, like our only purpose is to die! Well, isn't that like the purpose of life in general? Yeah, but we're cannonballs! It's even worse for us! It's fiery nothingness! But anyway, in this case, the cannonballs are actually arguing with one another. They're getting launched, and some of them are sleepy, some of them are like, oh, where are we, man? You know, where are we going? Where's our target? It's just funny to me, because it's like, yeah, imagine like you make like a bullet homie, and then you fire it out of the gun, and the bullet moves like super slow, like, oh, what were we doing again? Shoot the broadside of that barn! Oh, right, I'm sorry, man, and then crashes into... But, yeah, some of this is actually a problem. It's actually kind of an issue here, because some of the cannonballs are actually arguing and not knowing where to go, and they actually are missing the Thousand Sunny. Like, it's more than like a gag at this point. It's actually something kind of serious. So, we cut over to see a new member of the Charlotte family. This is the 26th son of the Charlotte family, Charlotte Bavaroy, or Bavarois, or Bavaroy, some food that I didn't look up. But anyway, it's some old dude wearing like an old sailor outfit, striped. He's got boxing gloves on, and he looks kind of like a mummy. Don't really know. Wait. I'm gonna see if I can guess this, okay? Because I haven't looked up the kind of food he's based off of, but going by his appearance, I'm gonna assume it's some type of pasta dish. Am I right? Am I right? Come on, say I'm right. He's got like the strings and the hair. Pasta dish, 100%. Okay, so anyway, the people on his crew, they're looking at the cannonballs, and they're like, I don't know, man. Maybe the reason they're not working right is because Big Mom, you know, she's so crazy, and, you know, her hunger pang has got her to the level, like, this is probably the longest I would assume she's ever had, like, a hunger pang, and we're going to get something later on, a line from Pero Sparrow that's going to definitely hint that this is the longest she's ever been in this state. At this point, she literally cannot control the homies, which is odd, because I thought, like, the homies, like let's say you make a cannonball homie, I just assumed, like, the soul entering the object, like, the sole purpose of that soul became dedicated to the purpose of that object. Like, if you put a homie in a flower, the flower just kind of, like, waves in the wind and sings along, like, I'm a flower, I'm a flower, I'm a flower, I'm a flower, just doing some flowery things. You know, if you put a homie into a cannonball, the purpose of that homie becomes, I'm a cannonball, that's what I do. I fire and I blow up, that's what I do. It seems to imply that Big Mom's, like, mental state has something to do with, like, the direct control of a homie. Now, if Big Mom wanted to, she could control any homie she wanted directly, like a robot, you know, like, you, listen to what I have to say, and then they would have to listen to what she has to say. But there seems to be like when Big Mom is not in the immediate vicinity, or when she's just chilling out in her castle, it seems like the homies are like on a default stage, where they just kind of do what they do, you know, they're still subservient to Big Mom, but they're like on autopilot, and they can kind of do what they want, unless Big Mom chooses to take direct control. So maybe in this case, though, maybe it's a case of like, Big Mom is so raging mad and hungry, she's hangry, she's like, I'm gonna directly control these cannonballs to hurl at them, but her mental state is so screwed up she can't do it properly. Something maybe along those lines. But anyway, they mentioned that, yeah, even though they're going full throttle, you know, Big Mom is racing toward the Straw Hats at full throttle and everything like that. The problem here is that Jinbei he's such a good helmsman, he's a fishman, of course, he knows the waves all too well. He probably knows, like, the exact point to steer the ship to speed up as much as possible, so they still can't quite reach the Thousand Sunny. Now, right at this time, we cut to Carrot, who's in the crow's nest, who's looking at, you know, the other direction, and she sees in front of the ship, there's actually another fleet coming their way. It's a pincer attack. So you got Big Mom and Parasparrow and everybody behind them, and the Pasta Dude, and then in front of them, they got Daifuku's fleet. And then on top of that, they got Smoothie's backup fleet, which, by the way, seems to be made up of other female members of the Charlotte family that are also maybe members of the Longleg tribe, so that's always good. Yeah, so they're closing in too, and Daifuku's there, which is awesome, because I was worried we weren't going to get something with Daifuku. Daifuku I'm interested in, like, the most, like, even more than Katakuri, just because his devil fruit is so weird. You know, Parasparrow can control candy, whatever. Katakuri can control mochi, alright, that's pretty badass, you know, he's awakened and all that crap. Oven just heats shit up, but then you get to Daifuku, who has, like, a weird paramecia that can, like, summon another sentient, like, autonomous being out of his stomach, and then can wield weapons to attack his opponent with. It's very strange. But anyway, then we cut over to Parasparrow, who's on a Den Den Mushi. He's riding on Big Mom. And, you know, they're like, do we have permission to attack? You know, blah, blah, blah. And Parasparrow is just like, you know what? Just go and do it. I'm tired with everybody playing these role-playing games. We've been doing this for hours. Because it's already night. And it's just like, let's just end this already. I'm tired with these role-playing games. So I guess Parasparrow's against D&D. I don't know, that's kind of a shitty thing. Granted, I've never played a game myself, but I'm not saying I'm not interested in it, it's whatever. But then we get this line where Parasparrow looks down at Big Mom, and Big Mom is still, you know, she's doing her wedding cake, but something's a little bit different about her. She looks a little bit, you know, thinner. Well, that's a subjective term when referring to Big Mom, like something is relative here, but Parasparrow, like, hey, Mama, you know, is it just me, or have you slimmed down a bit? You doing that Nutrisystem? You what? So it does seem like Big Mom is, like, she doesn't seem like, I want to say she's a little bit more labored, like she's a little bit more like, but, you know, we don't exactly get that expressly. It's just that she does look a lot thinner, because she's burning, like, all these, like, thousands of calories, like, every minute by just going around and, like, rampaging and doing everything. I guess it makes sense. And this goes back to, you ever read Toriko? Toriko is a manga all about, like, eating food, right? And the main character, at least at the beginning of the story, like, he has to eat, like, a tremendous amount of food. Like, if he doesn't eat a tremendous amount of food within the span of, like, a few hours, he's gonna start to, like, starve to death. Like, he's gonna burn through that many calories. So I would imagine something similar to Big Mom, how, yeah, she's this huge woman and she devours food like that, but if she doesn't keep that up, and, you know, she's been going around rampaging and she's not eating anything. Like, she puts stuff in, like when she was going after Nut Island, she was, like, chewing on the nuts, like, that's not cake, and she's spitting it out. So she only wants cake, and she's just rampaging, and she's burning through all this calorie. And so this would definitely imply, like, the way Parasparrow's, like, he's never seen this before, and Parasparrow's the eldest son, so if he hasn't seen it before, it probably hasn't happened yet. So we've probably never been in a situation where Big Mom has been under this kind of stress before, so that might actually come back to be something. I don't know what that's going for, but it seems to imply, like, there's a definite time limit to how long Big Mom can be rampaging like this. Like, she cannot keep this up forever. She cannot keep this up for days or weeks or whatever. She's not invincible. Eventually, she's gonna, you know, even she has limits with her energy. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna play a part here. They might resolve this with the cake before she gets like on a, like her tank gets on empty, but something to pay attention to, maybe for later on in the story. But anyway, yeah, you have Daifuku there, who's just like, all right, whenever they get in range, just fire them away, and make sure to use the cannonballs that do not have faces, because that way, you know, oh, what are you talking about, Captain Daifuku? Using cannonballs that are just normal cannonballs? You're insane. It's just crazy enough to work, you know. So whatever. We cut back over to the Thousand Sunny, and I like this scene because there's I think it's Brooke who's the one that says, you know, that looks like Daifuku. Be careful. He's got a genie. He's tough. I just love that line. He's like, oh shit, he's got a genie, guys. Be careful. You know, like they're just all supposed to automatically know what that means. Like, wait, what do you mean? He grants wishes? He's Robin Williams? Like, what do you mean here? But anyway, yeah. So they're pretty terrified. You get this pretty honestly badass moment from Chopper, where Chopper, you know, he's in his heavy point and he breaks out a rumble ball, and he has this expression on his face that's just like, I am so done with this, and he just pops up the rumble ball in his hands like he's flicking it up in the air, and he's just like, you want me to take care of this? And I'm like, damn, Chopper, you got some confidence there. Like, he's totally confident. Like, I'm just saying, man, I can fling myself on those ships, pop a rumble ball, monster point, we can have this shit over with. Not saying that wouldn't work, but that would be very dangerous, and it wouldn't be like Chopper would be able to take out like both fleets at the same time. But maybe that's not what he's trying to do. Maybe it would just be like, let's take out the advancing fleet, the one that's in front of us, take them out, and then we can just keep going forward. We know Big Mom will still be chasing us, but we could at least keep going. Buy us a little bit more time. But yeah, they decide not to go with that plan. Instead, you have Carrot on top of the crow's nest who looks over and she's like, let me do it! I promise I'll be useful, Bropper! Or, you know, Brother Chopper, you know, her nickname for Chopper. And it's like, oh my god, are we gonna do this? Yes, guys, yes. We are totes malotes gonna do this. Yeah. So she's got this really beautiful moment. She announces once again, tonight's a full moon. Jinbei looks up and is like, wait a second. You mean you trained for that? You know, okay, keep in mind, because he said, what, you trained for that, you know, so long, and we'll get to that later, but just imply that that means, like, a training. It's not just, like, maybe something every single mink could do, or maybe it is something every mink can do, but in order to actually, like, refine it and have complete control, you have to train with this skill. And, of course, she's like, well, yes, of course I trained for it. Pedro was my master. I am a musketeer, after all. She takes off her pack, she throws it down. She also does not have her Ella claws on, so keep that in mind as well. She looks up at the moon, she remembers Pedro, she states, you know, for you too, Pedro, I'll fight. And then she looks at the moon, her eyes begin to gleam, her tail expands, her eyes go narrow and red, her body begins to be engulfed in what looks like flames, although it's just her fur, her claws begin to extend, she goes into a freaking raging, what it looks like, it honestly kind of did remind me of Kumadori a little bit there, you know? Her hair goes crazy, big explosion of, I would imagine, just electrical crackling energy on top of the Sunny, and like this big boom! Beautiful, sexy, War Rabbit transformation. I don't know what the official you know, what the term is going to be, what this is going to be called, full moon mode or whatever, but I'm going to go with War Rabbit. I think, or sexy War Rabbit. I think that's a good term. Can I just coin that now? I'm just going to go with it. This is beautiful. This is gorgeous. Okay? And it, you know, when I was making a video, you know, thinking about how this was going to go down, I thought it was going to be like, you know, Oda was going to go with like the big hulking, you know, like, you know, were-rabbit, like an actual, like, I'm going to kill you. But I also considered the possibility he might go this route, too. I'm thinking, like, he also might go with the sexy, you know, rabbit form. And I'm thinking, well, how much sexier can Carrot already get? And he freaking proved me wrong. It could definitely happen. Legs for days. I'm not even into that, but wow. You know, one thing I am actually surprised about is, you know, you'd think, like, it's a female going through a miraculous transformation. You think definitely her boobs would get bigger, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I think she got upped a little bit, but not that much, you know, so I think he's definitely debunking more on the elegance, the mysticism of the moment to take in this breathtaking beauty. It's great, man. And it's still the idea of, like, her hair, you know, grows, like the tail and everything, and her hair is super long and it's all pure white. It's gonna look gorgeous in the anime. There's already been some, like, this is pretty early in the morning when I was looking at this, like, and I'm like, I don't know how much fan art is going to be out yet, but holy crap, there was a lot of fan art out. Like, you should go check it out. Like, it's amazing. Really good stuff. And, like, all of the hair is electrically charged, so it's, like, just crackling electricity. So, yeah, this is kind of similar to what I was saying. I mean, I can do a little, I won't do a call that shit dance, but I'll just do kind of like a call that shit, like, boogie, just like a little slow boogie, you know? Like, yeah, this is nice. This feels good, you know? I'm not the only one that thought about it. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying that, you know, sexy bunny and electricity and, you know, the legs and, yeah. Okay, let's wreck some shit! Let's go for it, Carrot! Bring it on! So, we have a little bit of a flashback first, where, just really quick, Inurashi is talking about how, you know, like, after what we've, you know, been through with Jack, after we were defeated, you know, the next time the Minks fight, the next time the Minks get brought to, like, the center stage, that's when we're gonna show the world our true form. And Carrot jumps off the Thousand Sunny and just rockets right for the freaking ocean. And it seems like the members of the, like, Daifuku ship, they know about this. Like, they know who she is, or at least they know about the legend of the Minks, and they even go out of their way to say, you know, it's a full moon, so they're aware that the full moon affects Minks, and they also say, you know, she's a member of the Phantom Island Zoo. Do not underestimate her. She is terrifying, you know, so it's like a legend far and wide. I guess the Straw Hats just didn't know about it. Jinbei clearly knew about it. Like, the Minks transform under the full moon, which actually, knowing that, it actually makes me think that when Jack launched his attack against Zoe, he might have actually made he might have made it a point to not attack during a full moon. Then again, Jack wasn't the smartest tack in the drawer, so maybe he just got lucky on that front, because yeah, if Jack attacked when all these freaking Minks were, like, on this level of power, I definitely think they would be able to knock him back. Maybe not kill him, but they would all definitely be able to knock him back. Or maybe they would be able to kill him, I don't know, because Carrot seems pretty strong in this form. Imagine, like, Inurashi, Nekomamushi, and every other Mink having this kind of power at the same time. Holy crap. So anyway, Carrot uses her, you know, she can jump in the air, but it seems to be refined a little bit. She can do it more elegantly. She just kind of, like, swoops down before touching the ocean and then rockets right toward Daifuku's ship. I've got this awesome close-up there. Everyone's saying, you know, shoot her down! Shoot her down! She's on a completely different level! I'm like, where is this knowledge? Is there, like, a book? You know, like, here's New World, the New World Strategy Guide, and oh, there's a section on Minks and the full moon, and all of the members of Big Mom's crew have read this. Like, oh, that's terrifying. Oh, actually, I just realized why they would know that. There are Minks in Totland. I just got that. Man, yeah, so if there's Minks already existing in Totland, I'm sure they probably would have told them, like, oh, yeah, we're from this island, Zoe, and during the full moon, we all go, you know, so that, yeah, but actually, if there's already Minks in Totland and they're already part of the crew, wouldn't that mean that they would be affected by the full moon as well? Ooh, call that, because there are Minks in the Whole Cake 31, the chefs that are building the ship. There was, like, a pig Mink in there. So, but maybe it's implied, like, you have to do special training to actually have complete control of the transformation. Maybe it's like every Mink could be affected by the moon, but to have this level of strength, this level of refinement, and control your actions and everything like that, you need to have, you know, proper training. You know, you can get through, like, the Musketeers or, like, the Forest Guardians or anything like that. So, Carrot starts rocketing towards, she lands on the ship, and then she starts clawing the crap out of everybody. And I'm imagining, like, there's just so much electricity being discharged from her, just, like, being in her presence gets your, like, oh, gets, like, goosebumps and your hair rising, and, you know, like, one scratch from her sends, like, 50,000 volts, like, 50 amps right through your, you know, she's biting people on the neck like some kind of war sexy rabbit vampire, and I'm imagining the moon in the background. The moon is up there watching her. You know, Eneru is up there on the freaking moon watching this spectacle unfold, and he's just like, That's hot. Okay, so cutting back to the Carnage, I mean, it is a massacre scene. Some of these people, they are definitely dead here. They are getting ripped to shreds by this thing, this moon lion, by the way. That's the Sulong thing, so maybe that's going to be the official term, you know, like war lion carrot or moon lion carrot or something like that. But I mean, people are getting electrocuted, people are getting cut up, you know, there's bleeding. She's doing freaking ballerina twirls into the sky. She's landing, and all the other members, they like, keep in mind, this is a long distance from the Thousand Sunny, you know, she jumped all the way on the other side of like the fleet there. So the Straw Hats have no idea what's going on except for Chopper. Chopper's sitting there with a pair of binoculars, and they're like, Chopper, what's going on? And Chopper's just like, So, Chopper's got a love interest now. I definitely think we're going to go down that road, 100%. That's not sarcasm in the slightest, but no, I honestly think it's just amazement. I think Chopper's just like, holy crap. But anyway, yeah, so, last scene, we cut over, and they're like, you know, someone take care of this lady. Like, what is she gonna do? You know, she's gonna take out this whole fleet. And sure enough, she just zips in front of everybody, holding the helm, holding the steering wheel for the freaking ship. She just ripped it right out of the freaking thing, so strength boost, definitely. And, she's like, oh crap, our ship's just gonna, like, it's gonna probably crash into other ships, it's gonna drift away. And then you have Carrot there just smirking, like, you know, oh man. Oh, I love this chapter, man. This is great. That's it. That's the end of the chapter. Thank God there's no break next week. I don't know if I could handle it. Holy crap, that's way too much. So, was it confirmed that the ship that she landed on was in fact like the ship Daifuku was on? Like it's actually his ship? I think it was. If not, I think it's pretty clear that she's probably going to confront Daifuku. I would like to see, honestly, I would like to see Carrot fight against Sparrow. Because of the whole issue, of course, with, you know, Pedro and everything. And I also think, I always thought Pedro was dead. I didn't think, there was some people throwing it out there like the moon is going to have some sort of, like, regenerative capabilities or something. The way I look at that now is, now that we see what actually happens, if the moon regenerative properties, obviously Carrot would know everything about this. She would know what it really does when the moon comes out, like what the capabilities of it are, what the limitations of it are. If the moon had some sort of like hyper-regeneration capabilities, and I'm talking hyper-regeneration. I'm not talking about just like, you know, because Pedro was the epicenter of this massive explosion, you know, he wouldn't just be losing an arm or a leg, like there'd be pieces of him over there, there'd be pieces of him over there, like going back to Toriko again, like it would have to be like that kind of hyper-regeneration, like in Toriko, when someone gets an arm blown off, all they have to do is like eat a special kind of food or splash some magic water on it, and it's just like, just get a new arm, like that. You know, there's been people in Toriko that have been blown to bits that could, you know, spring back to life from just a few cells, or like Cell from Dragon Ball Z. That would have to be like the level of regeneration that we would be having to deal with here. And I'm sure if that was a possibility, Carrot would have mentioned it. Carrot looked up at the moon and was like, I'm doing this for you, Pedro. I'm gonna fight for you, Pedro. So she was pretty confident that, like, yeah, Pedro's gone, he's not coming back. You'd think that it would be like a possibility, like, well, it's okay, it's gonna be a full moon, and the regeneration properties he might be okay. Even if he's, like, blown to smithereens, he might be okay. Like, she's not like that. She's not having that idea, so I think Pedro's definitely gone. But still, I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, there might even be some fan art now of what Pedro would look like under the full moon, or all the other. There's gonna be so much fan art. Like this is what Inarashi's gonna look like. This is what Nekomamushi's gonna look like. I think I'm gonna do, like, a separate discussion video all about that, because, like, there's, now that we know what happens, I think there's a lot of stuff I could say about it. Maybe, I don't know. But from what we've seen in this chapter, from what we've gleaned, there definitely is a training regiment you have to go through. It's not something you can just, like, you cannot have this level of control right out of the gate when you're a little kid. Maybe, like, every mink is affected by it, but just not to this level. Oh, my battery's gonna die soon, so, yeah. And, next chapter, I just hope to see more of her, because I feel like we didn't get to see that much of her. We only got to see her, like, twirling around. We didn't get to see her in full view, except for that one scene. So I hope to see her again more like this. She's obviously in complete control. She's still an ally. She's not a berserker. She just gets a major, you know, speed boost, power boost, maybe intelligence boost, electro boost, you know, all these buffs that she just got stacked on top of her. How long can this form last? I don't know. Can it last as long as the full moon is out? And why the full moon? Is there some way you can artificially trigger it? You know, that would be another way. Like, instead of looking at the full moon, and keep in mind, there are like 7 moons in One Piece. So this is not a thing like in our world, like once a month Carrot can do this. If Carrot were to join, which I really hope she does now, we could have this like every arc. Either that, or if Chopper figures out some way to artificially trigger it, like if he creates a specialized Rumble Ball for Carrot, just eats it and she transforms it. Like I can take the Moon Lion form for 5 minutes with a Rumble Ball, or I can keep it naturally when the moon's out, or something like that. I'd be fine with it. But anyway, I gotta get going because the battery's gonna die. I gotta get to work. But fucking yeah! Carrot for crew. This is happening now. 100%. I'm leading this train. Who's with me? Carrot for the crew. Look out, Carrot. Who will be the lookout? Let's do this!